All right, I see Charleston Weather is coming online with us now. Got Shay Gibson and Scotty Powell's Facebook pages, and we'll get started from there here just before the 3 o'clock hour. Just before the 3 o'clock hour on January the 3rd, 2022, I'm James Brierton from Charlotte, North Carolina. We are tracking a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado that has prompted the National Weather Service to go ahead and issue a tornado warning. This is, as you can see on your screen here, for two counties in South Carolina. It is central Bamberg and central Orangeburg counties. This goes until 3:15 a.m. Eastern time. You can certainly see on your screen right now where those polygons are. And so here's what you should be doing if you're listening to my voice here at this 3 o'clock hour and you are inside that red polygon on your screen. It's the same locations on the left and right side of your screen here. You should head to the lowest level of a sturdy structure. So hopefully at this hour you're waking up, your NOAA weather radio is waking you up, or somebody's calling you to let you know that you should be taking those precautions. So that means if you're in a home, get downstairs as far down as you can go with as many walls between you and the outside world as possible. This warning goes until 3:15 a.m. Eastern time, and it is radar indicated, which means the National Weather Service is looking at this thunderstorm on radar, and it's capable of producing a tornado. There hasn't been any confirmation that one's on the ground, but we're going to take all the necessary precautions until we can determine that there is or is not. So the dangerous locations inside the storm include Orangeburg, Brokedale, Orangeburg County Airport, South Carolina State University. That's a pretty big location here to certainly tell you about, along with Clifton College and Edisto Gardens. So this is until 3:15. Other locations do include the Prince of Orange Mall, Edisto, not the one at the coast, but the one here, and also Wilkinson Heights. So what we're looking at on the left-hand side of your screen, that is heavy rain. That's what you typically see when you look at radar. And on the right side of your screen, we're actually looking at the radar depicted winds. And so we're looking right on in here for areas of rotation. And what we can do is actually put this into motion over the course of the last few minutes or so to get an idea of what it is the National Weather Service may be looking at here to try to determine and the necessity for this particular warning at this hour. This is under the jurisdiction of the National Weather Service in Columbia, South Carolina, checking our internal chats here to see what all they might be looking at. But they've been keeping a close eye on this storm here since about 2:40 as they watched it come into Bamberg County, starting to show some shallow rotation, rotated along a northward lifting warm front. We'll talk about that whole big setup in just a few moments, but want to kind of let you know what's happening right now. This is almost right in the heart of the actual low that's up across the Carolinas. And so we're kind of watching this area right in here. So Orangeburg, you should be heading to your safe place right now. Roseville, Cordova, head to your safe place. And then this is going to be heading this way. So we'll wait to see if they decide to modify the size and the location of the tornado warning over the next few minutes. But if they did, it'd be Cameron or St. Matthews that kind of would be next in line. We actually just got in an update from the National Weather Service here now at 3:02, and we can kind of read to you the latest on this storm as we're continuing to track it with you here from the Carolina Weather Group across the platforms of all of our different sister organizations. So the National Weather Service is continuing to track this storm that you can see on your screen right here, and this is going to go until 3:15. So they've now removed Bamberg County from the tornado warning. So Bamberg County, you are clear. Matter of fact, by the time you probably got the alert into your safe place, you're probably just settling down there now. We're going to update our graphic on our screen again to let you know that Bamberg County has been removed from the warning, and it is just Orangeburg County now until 3:15. So another 10 minutes or so as we continue to track this thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. The rotation is really kind of difficult to make out on radar. Certainly trying to keep an eye on it here. I'm frankly not sure if they're looking at just a singular location on radar or really kind of multiple areas of possible rotation inside this storm. It's producing lightning right now across places like St. Matthews and Cameron, out towards Pinewood. You may be just being awoken at this hour by the sheer lightning that is associated with this. Let's see if there's any additional context from the Weather Service in the latest version of this bulletin that they issued just moments ago as they continue their 24-hour operations there. But again, this goes until 3:15. You want to get to the lowest level of the sturdy structure. You certainly do not want to outrun this storm. So if you're in a home right now that maybe you're wondering if it is or is not considered a sturdy structure, just stay where you are. You don't want to be trying to change locations. We have some questions and comments coming in from us right now. Christina says that she's in Beaufort and just got the warning to her phone. So that's a great use of that emergency wireless alert system, kind of waking you up in the middle of the night. And then Christina letting us know she got a second warning. And that's because what the Weather Service has done is they've reissued it. They dropped off Bamberg and they kept in Orangeburg County. And that kind of probably prompted it to go off on your phone again. So we'll continue to kind of keep an eye on this. Matter of fact, if you are watching with us right now, and maybe you don't live in this area, but you just happen to be up with us at this hour and you know somebody who maybe lives in Orangeburg per se, or Cameron even, give them a call, wake them up, because there's a possibility their phone didn't go off for some particular reason. And we want to let everybody know what this situation is at this hour of night. This is right in between two different radar sites. So you may see me kind of toggling between the Columbia perspective and the Charleston perspective. Again, the left-hand side of your screen is what you traditionally see when you look at radar. That is the rain. And then the right-hand side of your screen, that's the wind. So we're looking for rotation inside, and this is really kind of, there's certainly some strong indicated winds here, radar estimated winds of 50 or 60 miles an hour. And where exactly they think there could be a tornado is hard for me to really pick out. But we'll continue to keep an eye on that. I'm looking at some other products here. The bottom left would be hail. That's not really a factor for tonight. The bottom right would kind of be storm debris if there was anything to actually pick up. Now, if I widen out this picture, it's a very interesting night across the Carolinas. If you were with us for our earlier coverage, we have a tornado watch that was just allowed to expire. That was for Beaufort and Hilton Head and kind of the very southern tip of South Carolina. And then we have winter storm warnings up in the mountains because we've got winter snow that is going to be creeping into the area during the overnight hours. I'll show that to you in a few minutes because it's pretty and not as scary as what you all may be wanting to know right now at 3:06 here, as we're continuing to track this tornado warning that's going to be coming up here in the next few minutes on the interstate, and I can actually start to do a little multitasking with you to pull up some cameras that might be available to us in that Orangeburg area, so that if there is any sort of perspective we can get, we might be able to show that to you. But of course, this is obviously a nocturnal event, and seeing it is going to be extremely difficult. But if you do happen to know somebody who maybe works the roads late at night and is going to be coming along Interstate to 26 in that Orangeburg area, give them a call. Let them know what's going on, because we don't always want to rely on a sole mean of getting notifications. Weather radio is really good, your phone's really good, but having even somebody give you a call to let you know is always super helpful. Looking at the cameras right now off screen, and obviously not a whole lot to be seen at this hour of the night. It's certainly rainy, but there are still a good number of cars on the road despite it being 3 a.m. I'll check to see if we have any new questions coming in to chat as you guys are joining us here for this live severe weather coverage from the Carolina Weather Group. I'm James Brierton in Charlotte. Very windy right now. So far, no good. So far, so good. I've been up all night, says Christina. We've had the tornado touchdown about 2 miles from your location. That must be previously, since this is our first tornado warning of the night. Matter of fact, we've had a couple days of on and off kind of severe weather chances that we've been watching, and this is our first tornado warning in the Carolinas last few days. But we've had crazy bouts of weird weather, right, with record highs, and then we got winter weather coming into different parts of the state. So certainly been something we're keeping an eye on and keeping us on our toes. Let's check here to see if any of the other National Weather Service offices are doing anything, looking at anything. The National Weather Service in Charleston has gone ahead and expired that tornado watch, so we don't have the watch up anymore. That expired right at the top of the hour. National Weather Service in Charleston, which also has jurisdiction of Chatham County, Georgia, letting us know that they saw some winds there at about 2:45 in Chatham County, Georgia, 49 miles an hour. And that's kind of the threat with some of these storms, in addition to the particular isolated threat of possibility of tornadoes. We'll be watching for some damaging winds. So again, radar estimated winds now on your screen on the right hand side, 60-mile-per-hour winds just outside Orangeburg. And you're certainly probably noticing that as this system continues to move on through. I'm going to just take this single panel for just a moment, zoom on out. This is the only warning right now we have in the Carolinas, but the storm system is quite interesting and quite unique. What's happening is there's a low pressure system. It's going to be probably right about here. And this is all kind of set up this way. And this whole storm system is moving this way. So it's kind of trekking across the Carolinas. So our threat from severe weather extends back here through this line through Augusta. And this is going to be kind of moving up and along, paralleling the coast as we head on through the remainder of this Monday. While all of that is happening, we're going to have more rain backing in back behind this storm. And as it does that, we're going to begin to see snow move in. And you can actually see it here depicted by the radar in Virginia, the radar in Tennessee. And we're still waiting for the possibility that some of those flakes will start to fall, of course, in the North Carolina high country, but we're also watching it along the I-40 corridor. As we continue to watch this tornado warning right now for Orangeburg, that goes until 3:15. We're continuing to see if we'll get any updates here from the National Weather Service. It's not a terribly long duration for a tornado warning. As we are getting in some new information from the Weather Service, I'll switch on back over to that view here and just allow this tornado warning to expire. So here now at 3:10, we're going to see this tornado warning drop off your screen. You are safe to come back out of your safe places in Orangeburg, across the entire county. This tornado warning is no more. And what I can show you here, as I know a lot of you probably jumped out of bed, lots of adrenaline there, really all of a sudden. I know I did when I heard the tornado warning go off. I just want to kind of give you the lay of the land of what you can expect for the remainder of the night. So we have um, the possibility that we could see again some continuing isolated tornadic threats. They're on the lower side, less than say 5%, probably even less than 2% now that we've moved into the overnight hours, as this storm system continues to move to the north and to the east, paralleling the coastline. There's still certainly a threat that it will persist across the Midlands along the I-95 corridor. It's in South Carolina for most of the night, but we already have the leading edge of some thunder now moving into the Sandhills, across Anson County, even some thunder back across Rock Hill, South Carolina, not too long ago. So we'll be watching for this threat to kind of, again, meander to the north and to the east as we head on through the rest of the night. And what I'm going to do now that this tornado warning has been allowed to expire is I can show you that future cast for the remainder of the night before we kind of wrap things up on this particular severe weather coverage from the Carolina Weather Group. What I'm going to show you is one of the most recent model runs that has come in. And let me begin this screen share here to show you this, so you have an idea as you hopefully try to calm back down and crawl into bed what you can expect to see. And so this is more or less the computer model's interpretation of where things are right now. We have lots of heavy rain across the Carolinas. We have a flood threat and a wind threat for much of the Carolinas. And as we head on through the course of the next few hours, you can see we still have those kind of discrete cells across South Carolina. Right about here, we're beginning to see that the center of the low is tracking into the Carolinas, now coming just along the I-77 corridor. This is about 4 hours from now, so about 7 o'clock. It's really going to be, if I walk this backwards, about 6 o'clock where we have that discrete line of storms kind of along that I-77 corridor, and then again pushing to the north and east as we come through daybreak out towards the later morning hours, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. We'll be watching for more tornadoes possible across northeastern and coastal North Carolina as we head on through the rest of Monday morning. All of that storm threat moves out by about midday. But if I show you this from a winter perspective, you can see the green area is all that rain we were just talking about, all those storms we're talking about, right? So on one side of things, we're talking about the potential for severe storms and damaging winds. And on the other side of things, we're talking about the potential for snow along that I-40 corridor. You can see it there in blue. It's going to be a very, very interesting Monday across the Carolinas. And so I invite you to stay with us on the Carolina Weather Group platforms, whether you're watching on our nonstop feed on YouTube or watching on one of our sister platforms like Jared Smith's Charleston weather page. We invite you to like and subscribe wherever you are so you can be notified when we come back on the air for more severe weather coverage. Christina answering our questions from a few moments ago, talking about a tornado touchdown from several months ago. It's making you very weather aware, and a lot of people experience that. A lot of people who go through severe weather events and carry that memory with them then find themselves extra aware the next time something comes around. So while I'm sorry you had to go through that event a couple months back. I'm glad in a way you're weather aware with us tonight. I know that probably feels like a lot of anxiety, but being informed is the best thing that you can do. And certainly your phone waking you up tonight, and as you're just noting here, the warning dropping off is really showing that you've got that keen sense of staying weather aware, and that's really, really good. So we don't have any tornado watches. We don't have any severe thunderstorm watches here now at 3:15. We don't actually have any watches up for thunderstorms or tornadoes across the Carolinas. That's good news because it tells us that the National Weather Service's kind of threshold for expecting severe weather or expectation of seeing severe weather is not even to the magnitude of needing that watch any longer, like we had for certain portions of South Carolina earlier. Can't completely rule it out, so they're going to continue, of course, their nonstop operations. What we do have up for much of the Carolinas is a flood risk, wind advisory for gusty winds 30, 40, maybe 50 miles an hour. And so that flood risk is because of the heavy rains. So here, like where I am in Charlotte and across other portions of the region, we are watching for the potential of even some flash flooding as we go on through the night. I can tell you it's raining here, and it's raining pretty good. And so the ground is already wet from lots of rain today. And that's why the Weather Service in particular is watching. Let me show you this area right here on the screen for the overnight kind of flood threat with localized scatter flash flooding, 1 to 5 inches of rain an hour possible, or 2 to 3 inches in about a 2 or 3 hour time frame. That goes through about 5 a.m. or so. So that's what has prompted them to issue, along with the wind advisory. They've issued a flood watch, and then of course they've got the winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories for the mountains, the foothills, and we'll have to wait and see whether or not we get any snowflakes along or south of the I-40 corridor. That's a different ballgame for a different time. That's going to do it for this live storm coverage from the Carolina Weather Group. I'm James Brierton in Charlotte. Thanks so much for joining us and trusting us to provide you with this severe weather information. If you're watching on our Carolina WeatherNet, that's our free nonstop weather service brought to you on the Carolina Weather Group YouTube channel. You can watch it anywhere you watch YouTube, from your smartphone to your smart TV. We'll get you back to regular scheduled programming there in just a few moments, which will include real-time radar, real-time warnings, alongside the best of our weekly show, until, of course, my face pops up again to let you know whether or not there's anything else you need to know. If you're watching someplace else, like and subscribe wherever it is you're watching to be notified of special events from us here at the Carolina Weather Group. But again, 3:17, we don't have any warnings to tell you about. And so we'll let you try to get back onto bed, myself included, and we'll keep an ear out for anything else that pops up during the overnight hours. But for now, from Charlotte, I'm James. Sleep well.